Hello and welcome. This video is part of a series I'm doing on my channel related to a multi-day 4th of July vendor event that I just did a few weeks ago. I would consider myself to still be more on the beginner side of doing these vendor events, but I'm starting to cross over into the more regular or intermediate level vendor. And in this series, I'll be sharing some of my stories, the lessons I've learned, my favorite tips and tricks so far, my booth layouts, my displays, basically my blood, sweat, and tears when it came to this event specifically. I want to help others who are around my level or a little below, or those who are only thinking about doing these events themselves and need a little boost. And I hope I help you learn something. So let's get started on this episode. Booth layout options. Hello and welcome everyone to the layout episode of the vendor event series that I'm doing on my channel. I'll have all the other videos linked in the description when they're ready, because there's some that come after this and some that come before. Anyway, this is in preparation, if you don't know, this is in preparation for an event that I'm doing in my city, a 3-day event. So it's going to be the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of July. But this is about 2 weeks out at this point that I'm starting this video. Going to be working on figuring out the layout today. Hopefully I get it nailed down, but I might have some wiggle room anyway, depending on the day of. I might have to change things. So, but today I'm going to be putting up my canopy here in my living room because this is the best space to do it. And I'm going to be putting all my tables and stuff in here and figuring out the floor layout. And then I want to also figure out like the height layout, like stuff I want, how tall things are going to be, and you know, how I'm going to display certain things. I have some ideas, but I want to make sure they work. So otherwise I'm going to have to buy more stuff. But anyways, that's what I'm going to be working on. I want to go over some layout options that I have planned out first with you, and then we're going to actually implement some of them, maybe all of them, we'll see, and decide which one works best or which ones might be the case or whatever. It kind of depends on the space, so I have a 10 by 10 tent space. Actually, it wasn't really told to me how much space I have, but I guess it's supposed to be 10 by 10 because that's the standard. So, I mean, I know there's going to be traffic like in front of my tent, obviously. I'm not sure if there's going to be some behind my tent or if there's going to be someone else behind me. Because if there isn't, either I could have another entrance coming in from the back, depending on if there's going to be traffic back there, or I could maybe squeeze a little more space in by going a little bit outside my tent for something, but that kind of depends on weather too, because I'm not sure if I want to do that for weather purposes. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out along the way. I'll kind of talk about options, and I'll show you what I have and if I need to buy anything else along the way. So I think I got most of the major stuff ready. So that's why I'm doing this today. So you can see what I got, see how I'm going to put everything together. Actually, first I'm going to introduce you to the things I have so that when I'm talking about them on the layout, you kind of know what I'm talking about. So let me do that first. So this is going to be like my main 6-foot table here. So I've had for a while. I've been using it to paint on as well. I'm going to have a tablecloth and everything. In fact, I'm probably going to be using that in this video so you can see. But so this is a 6-foot table. I just bought a 6-foot bench that I'm going to put on top here for a riser, and then I put another one in front here. Obviously all that stuff, don't worry about that. But I'm going to put another one in front here, so then I'll have 3 tiers. So you'll see that set up as soon as I get the canopy set up. Then I have this shelf here that I actually got for free. Please excuse the refrigerator noise in this room. I forgot to unplug it before I started filming, which I have to do every time I'm in here. But hopefully it doesn't distract too much. I'm not going to be in here very long. But anyway, so I got this shelf for free on a local buy nothing group. I just happened to see it one day. I'm like, oh, that might work for my tent. I'm going to go get it. So I got it. Now I do have to, because this is a leaning shelf, it doesn't like have a stand. I'm going to drill holes in the top here and then secure it to my tent. And then down on the bottom, I'm also gonna drill holes, and I think either stake it in or do something so that it's more stable. Maybe put things in front or in back or whatever. We'll see how it works out. But for sure, I'm drilling the top, I mean. I'm drilling the top so that I can put some zip ties or something in there to secure it to the tent itself. But we're gonna figure that out today. I'm not sure if I'm drilling today, we'll find out. This I just purchased recently. It's technically a portable bar. I got it on Amazon. I'll link everything I have. I do have an Amazon storefront that I get commission on, you know, if you buy anything from my list, but you know, just so you know what it is, you can look it up or find something similar. You don't necessarily have to buy it from me. But anyway, these are a portable bar. I thought it would be good for a checkout area. I've seen people do this. It's nice that it's foldable, especially because I might possibly have access to a larger vehicle that day, but most likely we're going to be using my husband's car. I personally don't have a car right now, but we're in the market for a bigger car for me, either like a van or a truck or something like that. But my dad has a truck, so I might be able to use his truck. So it might not be as big of a deal, but having everything compact was very important to me as far as like transport goes. So for now, this is what I got. Maybe later on in the years, I'll have something a little more fancy that isn't broken down as much. But anyway, so this is my portable bar. It's gonna be my checkout area. You know, I'm gonna have all my bags in here and all the stuff I need back there, basically. We'll figure that out later in the video. We're gonna talk about that. But that's my checkout area. And it can either go like this or it can be a corner. And I'm leaning towards a corner, but we're gonna try out different configurations for it. See if it works out like this instead. But I'm kind of worried security-wise if I would do that. But we'll find out. Anyway, so yeah, I already told you about the table. So that's it. There's some of my product back there. It was all stored up here, but now I'm gonna be moving this, so I had to move it out of the way. But anyway, let me show you other things I have. So I have these tables. They're actually camping tables, technically. That's why I bought them in the first place. But there's two of these. You can adjust the height with the legs. You can take different parts off or whatever, and put them in different configurations. So these are really flexible. I'd actually like to get another set of these sometime, at least one, maybe a couple. They are a little on the pricey side, but they are very flexible. I love them. And there are other options too that might be cheaper. I just want to get for me, because I already have this one, I'd like to get another one exactly like that. At least one, like I said. But anyway, you can put them in different configurations. Maybe I'll show that later in the video or in an overlay right now. I'll show you some little different ways you can do it with those tables, but they are very flexible. I love these. Use them for camping, use them for vendor events. They're great. All right, again, that's the table I just had out there. This is one of the benches. The other one's in my garage. It's still folded up. I just bought it yesterday. And I do also have a 4-foot table in there that's similar to the 6-foot table. But I mean, you can use your imagination on that. You're gonna see it eventually. I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of the things I have that I am going to be putting in my space when I show you the layouts. So here you go. All right, sorry if it's a little crooked. So this is the Procreate app, which I have a bunch of videos on my channel about. And this is one of the things you can do with Procreate app. You can use it just like graph paper and figure out layouts and stuff. So I did that. Obviously lines aren't very straight. I was just kind of sketching. I also did do, though, like regular graph paper, and so I could move things around a little easier. You can do that on here too, but it's a little easier to do it like quicker on paper. So I was doing that too, and I have pictures of all that, so I'm going to show you. But this is the layout that I'm kind of set on, but we're going to see how it works in the tent. So this is that 6-foot table here, and then the one riser, the bench here, and then the bench here. And then this is one of those small versatile tables that I showed you. And this is the 4-foot table. This is, I thought about putting a riser here possibly. I don't know what I'm going to use for that yet, but I do have some stuff I can use. Otherwise I might have to buy something. This is that checkout stand in a corner configuration. Like I said, this is my vending machine because I want the vending machine visible from the main thoroughfare here. So people will be intrigued by that. So that's one of the reasons I want this kind of closer this way so that I can put my vending machine there. But we're going to see if it works out that way. This is another one of those small little tables, and this is that shelf back there, and it's going to be secured to the tent, like I said. This is what I think I'm doing. I also have a whiteboard that I'm going to put on easel because it's magnetic, and I have magnets that I want to sell. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing that for sure, but that's my plan right now. I also have some, I might purchase an actual grid wall, but I have some pseudo grid wall type stuff that I can possibly hang from the tent. We're going to figure that out today as well. We're going to first figure out the floor layout, and then we're going to figure out like the height layout, like things that are going to be off the ground. And then these are like sidewalk A-frame chalkboard signs that I have that I'm going to be using to advertise stuff. But that is that. Let me show you the options I have on paper. All right, so this is basically that same configuration on paper. I took a picture of it, except the shelf is not diagonal. It's either way, diagonal or like that, depending on which way I want to do it. But this is basically what I had in that drawing on paper, so I could move things around. So as you see, like that small versatile table here and one here. And then I have that 4-foot table up here, that 6-foot table here, and then the 2 benches, like I said. That's the one that I just showed you, but on paper. So then I have over here, I thought maybe doing, if I wanted to do it straight, the checkout area, and then have the vending machine like here, or like on the corner here or whatever. Because again, I want that closer to the main entrance. That's the big difference here. The other thing is I put the one 32-inch table that was here, I put that up here for a riser because I can make it shorter too. So that might be what I use over there. I'm not sure. It's not really going to fit this way. I can't manipulate this because it's not actually the paper, it's a picture. But if I put it this way, it's not going to quite fit. So it's going to have to be this way if I do that. This does give more space here in the middle because if you see here, like I said, this is actually only like 2.5 feet of space here for an aisle, which is a little tight. And then me getting back here, this is like 18 inches here with this table here. And back here is enough space, but like right here trying to get in there, I'm gonna have to squeeze in and out all the time. So I'm not sure how that's gonna work, but that's one of the things I want to figure out when I get the tent actually set up. So another option, see, I don't really like this one because the vending machine isn't here. It's way back here. But it might also be if I have another thoroughfare over here, then I can maybe do it that way. This is pretty much the same, but then I had the bar in a corner back this way and the one smaller table in front here for more display and then the shelf over here. But then you get kind of a little bit more of a room for people to kind of move around. So I'm not sure if that'll work better or not. We're going to see. And then this is another maybe configuration, instead of having it there, that other table, moving it over here. But this might be a little tight here. I don't think that's going to work, but it was just an option I was playing with. Let's see. This one I have the checkout stand here, and then I have the table here. So it's like a kind of an extended checkout stand. However, this is the same pretty much in the shelves back here. I'm not quite sure about having this that open because I don't want people coming back here, especially kids. They're probably going to sneak back there. I might have to put like a rope up or something there if that helps. I don't know. But I'm not sure about this layout. I just kind of wanted to try it out. Maybe if having like the big extended bar and then a table here for more display, but being closed off from the outside so people can't just walk in that way, like this would be the entrance and then they could get stuff from here, but then I want this kind of blocked off so they don't come back here. But we'll have to figure that out. This, let's see, basically just moved that table over here. So again, move the bar back, which I'm not quite sure about because I want the vending machine visible. Having the shelf over here, which is kind of weird anyway because people are going to be coming in this way, so they have to come in to look at this. And they're not really going to see anything from out there, so they might not be intrigued by whatever's there, And then this is also a little tight when you come in here. you know, and then like obviously the stuff that's displayed here you would see from here, but then this is going to be the corner of the tent and it's going to be hard to see that. And then they have to come in here, and then like maybe reaching the stuff over here might be a little, you know, problem. Even with this 4-foot table back here, the corner, that's why I wanted to put a riser up here. Maybe it would be easier to reach stuff. But again, that's something we're going to figure out as we put it together to see if that's going to work or not. This is an option where it's all in a line like that. So, because it's 6 foot and 4-foot table and I got 10 feet. It's going to be a little tight though. Anyway, so I moved this table to the back this time and I had the benches the same way they are. Then I put this table here and then I put a small table in front of it, which, you know, I'm not sure if that's going to work very well. We'll see. And then I decided to put the bar back here so that there's more space to move in at least. But then having this so tight here would discourage people from coming in here. However, it also might discourage them from like seeing all this stuff because it's a little tight here, because again, this is only 2 feet of space. So again, we're going to try all these out, see how they work, see how everyone fits in there and whatnot. But that was an option, having the shelf against the bar. Then I don't have to secure it to, well, I probably secure the one to the tent, but then I don't have to secure both sides to the tent, and it would lean against the bar, and then I'd probably have something in front of it so it doesn't collapse, hopefully. But anyway, so that was just an option. I'm not sure if that would work. And then this one is similar, but I have the shelf secured here to the tent instead of in front of the bar. How many of these do I have? I moved this table over here, but then with this, you'd have to like come in and then go around, and I don't know if people are going to be encouraged to do that. They're going to be like, oh, never mind, I don't want to squeeze through there, especially if it gets crowded. So I'm not sure if this one's going to work, but we're going to see. We're just going to try them out and see how they work. And then this one's similar, except it has the bar moved over so that there's a little more space. But again, I don't like this being so open here, especially with the shelf here, because people are going to come look at the shelf and then they're going to come look back here, you know. So I'm not sure about that, but it does give you the option, this one, having like the 2 entrances. Like if I do have a path here and a path here, this might be an option. And that's why I was trying to get that to work. Okay. Here's another one where I put the tables here instead. So you got a little space here. You know, that might work too, but then what I don't like about this, obviously people are going to be checking out here, and there isn't really a whole lot of space for them to stand. They'd have to probably stand here while they're checking out. And then what if it's raining or whatever, you know? So I'm not sure about that one. But anyway, those are my options. So we're going to try those out after I get my canopy set up in the living room. We're going to do that next. Well, I'm planning on putting the legs higher, except I can't do that right now because of my ceiling. It's already kind of pushing it. So the height it is now, it'll fit pretty well on where the tent is, so I can secure it to it. And just space-wise, that should be fine. You can go over here, look at this, grab this, look at this table. Okay, I'm ready to check out. Like I said, I thought this was going to be the one. I'm pretty sure it is, but I do want to check out the other ones, see how they work. But even if I raise this up, I should still be able to secure that to the tent frame. and have something on the ground, either stakes and or stuff in front and back to kind of let it lean and hold on. I really hope it's not super windy. I do have sidewalls as well from my other canopy, the one that got broken. I've never used them though, so I have to figure that out. I don't really want to play with it today. I kind of did, but the way things are, I don't want to. So maybe I'll take this outside later, a different day, and do all that. But this seems to be fine. Now, the one thing I do want to check out is, hold on, let me go get it. So instead of buying a grid wall right now, which I might still do, if this works out, then maybe not. I have these, like basically like tomato growing things that I want to put here so I can hang things. I'm pretty sure these are going to work. The only problem is the bottom kind of swings too much. It's not very secure. I might test this out later, strength-wise. Plus it's going to be up higher. The legs are going to be higher, like I said. Like this, because I have 3. Well, I have 4 actually, but I don't need 4. Probably just need 3. Unless I put one on this side too. Never mind. Anyway, so that I can hang my door hangers and other stuff off of there instead of getting the grid wall, which I probably will get eventually. I just don't want to spend that much right now. Also, I was worried about possibly it being difficult to reach over here, but if it's something that's up, it won't be as bad. That's why I was thinking of maybe using that as a riser. I need to adjust the heights of these. Well, this one can't. Well, actually, if I take the small ones off of there, I might be able to put the small ones on here and it might be close. We'll do that a little later. I am going to be doing the layouts, like I said. I just kind of wanted to think about this for a minute. I'm thinking that's going to work. I have to zip tie that. Like I said, I had 1. I have 2. I brought in 2, but I have 2 more. So I can hang them like that. I think they might be more stable doing it like that rather than putting them horizontal. Even if they hang down further than the table, that's fine. But like I said, the legs are going to be up higher, so everything's going to be higher. So I think that'll be fine for those. Let me take this down for now. I'm going to check the strength of it and everything later. Right now I'm going to do the floor layouts. Like I said, this is the one I like. And I think it's going to work out. Like I was kind of worried about the space, but it seems pretty good. I might even move this out a little bit more. This is a little past the, it's a little past the line here. All right, so I'm gonna pause the video. I'm gonna rearrange and show you the different options, but I don't need to really film that. I'll just show you when it's done. But I'm pretty sure this is the one I like. The one I showed you first on my iPad, and then I showed you the paper version as well. I'll put it up on the screen. This is the one I think I'm going with. I already planned this out. I think it's great. I do want to check the other ones to see, because like I said, it might change the day of. Like I might have something that makes this not feasible, so I might have to change it up. So I do want a couple options, but I think this is the one I want right here. And then my vending machine will be right here when you walk by. Ooh, what's that? It's a vending machine. Cool. You know? But, you know, I was worried about the space and I think it's good. All right, let's see what the other ones look like. All right, like I said, this is the one I like before I start moving things around. There is enough space to move in here, pretty nice. I don't have the benches up, but I'm gonna do that in a minute. Actually, I should do that before I start moving things around. I can take another picture of that because I already took pictures. Ignore the cat food. But anyway, so that's that. Let me give you a view of the shelf. And I said everything's gonna be taller as well. I can't do any much taller because of the ceilings. I'm not doing this outside. It's kind of hot today and I really don't feel like going outside, even if it wasn't hot. But anyway, so that's I think this is going to be the one I want, but we will see. Let's see some other options. All right, now the benches are in to give you an idea what that looks like. I'm going to show you the pathway because it did change a little bit, but it's not bad. It's still, you know, enough space, I think. It's bigger than it seemed on paper. Let's put it that way. Like I thought it was going to be real tight, and it's not that tight. So anyway, so that's that. All right, so this is where I have a longer checkout stand like this option, and I moved the one table that was over there up on here for a riser. Now this is going to be a lot shorter. I don't feel like adjusting the legs right now. I could technically have it as short as that small leg right there, and then a little bit on top. But that would be shorter, so it wouldn't be that tall. This is okay. It's an option depending on how things go. The only thing I would say, and I think that's the next one, if I remember correctly, the shelf I might make flat against the back instead of on the corner like that, because there is a little bit of a, let me show you. I mean, I would be the one walking back here, and it would discourage people from walking back here, which is good, because I don't want people back here, like I said. But it is a little tight there, but not too bad. So I think the next one, like I said, is, I can just do that real quick. Well, let me take pictures first. But the shelf would be on the back there instead of on the corner, and that would give a little more space. But actually, I think this is better, because as far as like customers looking on that shelf, because otherwise they're going to be like here, like right in front of my checkout stand looking at stuff, and I don't want them to like bump into it or whatever. So, I mean, they might still do that, but like, I think I'd rather have it like that, and then they can just kind of look, grab something. So that is, I think, the way I want to go there. Like I said, I think if I remember correctly, the next layout was that one just on the back, and I don't think I want to do that. So I'm gonna take some pictures of this, and then we'll move to the next one. All right, so this one's got more space coming in, and the shelf is now moved in front here. This might work. The only thing I don't like in terms of like what I had planned is the vending machine would be a little further back, but you can kind of still see it from here. I mean, probably like, what is that? What is that thing? Is that a vending machine? Like, I'd rather have it up close and in front, but in a way, the vending machine will help draw people in, you know, rather than them just kind of looking by. Is that a vending machine? Oh, that's weird. And then kind of walking by, you know. It is a little tight here in between that, but that's not a big deal because people are going to be checking out like in this area anyway. And I mean, there's going to be stuff here. So I don't know. It's, like I said, it's an option. I'm not thrilled about it, but it's not bad. And this is all kind of the same. Is that the tornado siren? I think it's just they're testing it. If you can hear that. I don't know. Anyway, what was I going to say? Like there's more space in the beginning, which is nice because then people kind of filter in and they don't feel as cramped. But this is still kind of more secure because I'd have stuff up around there so they couldn't really come in from the back. But I don't like that it's so far in. Because also if I'm standing back there doing something and someone, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but someone tries to like steal something or something, like it's going to be kind of harder for me to get out and confront the person depending on, you know, the situation. And I don't like that aspect. I don't like that for that reason. And I'm going to be alone. So it's not like I have another person at my booth. So I don't like being kind of trapped back there more. If something like that would happen, or some other emergency, doesn't have to be someone stealing from me, but like, you know, I have to get out for some reason. Like I don't like being that far back. Like it kind of makes me a little claustrophobic. And there's, like I said, it's not a big space there, which is part of the claustrophobia, but also for customers. But like I said, this is an option. I'm just not too thrilled about it. I will take some pictures. All right, this is that kind of cramped option here where I had the tables kind of the table and the shelf in a U over here. Very cramped. I'll show you in a minute. I'll stand in there and show you. But you know, this is kind of like I really don't think this is going to be an option, but you know, or a practical option. It is an option. There's nothing in front here, which I mean, I guess is fine because you got a little space, but still cramped here. And cramped here as well. So I don't think this one's going to work out very well. Probably on the last of my list. But let me show you real quick here how cramped this is. Like there's stuff here, and there's plenty of stuff there towards the outside, and there's some stuff here. And you know, all this stuff, and it's you can pretty much fit one person here. So again, if there's people with kids, they're kind of like following their mom or dad or whatever, like kids are gonna bump into stuff, try to sneak in there with their parents. There isn't much room. Plus, you know, if you have a wheelchair or something bigger, like this is just not good. So like I said, not an option. Pretty much on the last of the list. All right, so this is the next option. I'm not too fond of this. Like I said, I think I was saying earlier, like this over here, I'll show you when I get over there. It's too open. Like I don't want people encouraged to walk back here or even look back here really at my stuff that I have behind the counter. So I don't like that. I do like having the additional table here as you know, as people are walking by, they have more space to look at stuff and then be drawn in. The space is pretty much the same as my favorite one as far as the aisle goes, because this is, even though this is long, and I have it as a corner on my favorite one, the aisle is pretty similar here. Not much different here, except this is back here now. And then the shelf is here. Now you could put against the back wall too, instead. And that, for space-wise, for moving around, it's, you know, a little better. But still, again, if people are going to be back there looking at that shelf, they're going to kind of peek back here, and I don't want them to do that. You know, at least not like completely open like that. Like I said, I'm going to have a backdrop here, so you can't like peer in from the side. But from that area, I don't want them looking back there. It's too open for me. Even though I'd like it to be open for me to get out easy, I don't want it to be open so that people can get in very easily. So that's not what I don't like about this. So take some pictures. All right, now there's this option. So now this is in the corner back there again, which is nice for security, as long as I can get in and out. We talked about that earlier, but you know, that's not bad. This kind of faces inward, which on one hand, would maybe encourage people to come in like this and be like, okay, what do you have here? Because I can't see it from out here, which is a good thing because you want people to come in. But what they're not going to come in is because of this. Like, this is too tight of a space. Like, they have to walk in and then go around, you know, which isn't really ideal. So if I was to do this at all, I'd probably move this table again to be a riser over there. I don't know if I made that an option or not, but I was playing around with it, seeing maybe if I could get this to work, but I don't think that's going to work. So this should not be here. It's blocking the aisle. I got to get in here. So that's that option though. All right, this is the next option. I already said this one's probably not going to work out. This might actually be the worst one. Hard to tell. But anyway, this is back in the corner, the bar area, checkout area. Have the table in front for more display, and the shelf kind of right there, leaning against the bar instead of being secured to the tent, which it probably still would be secured there. And for right now, it's working even without being secured, so I guess, you know, it's fine. But this main thing was moving this 4 foot in front of the 6 foot so that it takes up the whole side. And you could do it in the back too, but it really doesn't matter each way. And then I put this in front. Obviously I would have this lowered, but it would be kind of like the same, similar to the tier there, the lower tier there, so that I could kind of extend it a little bit. But you know, I don't think this is gonna work that as well, like that sticking out from, I mean, I could probably just remove that, I guess, or I could bring it up here too to have a little bit more rise there as well. But even with that, I'm not too fond of this. Like, this is all very tight here. If I moved that might make it a little better, but yeah, I don't think I like this. I like the other version better where this isn't all the length. But the nice thing about this is you get kind of a big space here in the beginning to move in. So again, it invites people in a little more because, you know, otherwise they might start, if there's only just one aisle, they might kind of like, oh, it looks a little tight. I don't know if I want to go in there, you know. So this kind of encourages people to come in a little more. That's what I was trying to do. But again, I don't really think it's going to work. It all kind of depends on the flow of traffic, like I said. So I could even, because this is a 3-day event, I could change it up each day and try different things. We'll see how I feel. But I'm not too fond of this. Let's take some pictures. All right, so this was the next option. It just moved the shelf over to this side. And, you know, that's if I don't want it leaning on the desk, basically. Not much of a difference. I mean, there is a little bit of a difference, and I would say this one's better, but it's still, you know, the space back there I don't really like, and I could move that up here, but I'm not too fond of this, like I said. But that kind of, it takes away a little bit of the openness here, but it does draw people in with the shelf. Like, come on in when you're walking by this way. Like, oh, look at that shelf full of stuff. That's what it's supposed to do anyway. I'm not sure that people are going to do that, but we'll see. And then if they're coming this way, they can see all that stuff. And then when they come in, they can be like, oh, there's a shelf here. So that's how that would work if I was doing it. But this is probably not going to be an option practically. But we'll see. All right, this is another one of those weird options where this table kind of juts out in the middle here. Not too bad. I mean, you could do it. It's a little weird. But people would have to go around it, which I think they're going to be discouraged from doing. But this eliminates the problem back there where the table was there. But like I said, I could always put it up here too. I didn't put that on the options, but on paper at least. But anyway, so that's the difference there. I'm not too wild about this either. The last, last three I haven't really been wild about, but it is, possibility, I guess. It's just practically I don't see it happening, but maybe I might change my mind the day of. We'll see. All right, this is the next option. So if I wanted to keep this for some reason, not sure that I do, pretty sure that I don't, I can make this the long version so that it takes up less space this way. So there is a little more space here for the aisle. The shelf being back there the way it is, it would probably be better on the back wall. I'll show you why in a minute. It's hard to get in. I mean, I can get in, but it's a little tight. But I'm not very fond of these options. They were just kind of to try out. So, but I'll show you this in a minute here. But anyway, this is the space here that I would have to go through to get in back here. It's not bad. I can get in pretty easily. It's just, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be clumsy and run into it. Well, I might be. But, I think I can. But it would discourage people from coming back here because, there's less of a space. But at the same time, again, unattended children or whatever might try to come back here. So, that I don't like so much. And this also, I didn't really say, but this makes it difficult. This table here, I'm not sure if you can see because I don't have the camera pointed at me or I can see it. But if I had this here, it'd be kind of hard to reach the stuff back here. Which I might just put a sign there instead, not something that you can buy, like something that, like I'm advertising or whatever, that kind of sign, to deal with that. But again, I don't think people would like the having to go around thing. Like they might just be like, they might get curious and be like, I don't want to go in there, so I'm going to leave. So I don't really like this one. Again. And this is the last option. Moving the tables over there. In general, I don't want like that wide, thick, whatever, of a table to be in front of the checkout. Like I'd rather have the bench there in front of the checkout because it's a little thinner, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep that with that table because they're all 6 feet. But, this I'm not too fond of because people are going to come up to the checkout stand and be kind of like, there's stuff in front of me and I can't really, move around or whatever to exchange money or information or whatever. So I don't think that's going to work out, but I was just trying to get, the space better. Like I said, I don't think any of these last couple options here, and this is the last one, are practical. It would have to be compensating for something else. I'm not sure what that would be, but I just wanted to kind of see if it would work. And again, I'm not too fond of these. So I'm going to put everything back in the configuration I like the best, which was the first one. And then I'm going to start adding some other stuff so we can really see how that one works. But I'll take a few pictures first of this one. All right, so I did adjust the legs on both of these. I took the short little part on the end off of this one, so I made this shorter so it's closer to this size. And then I added those onto that table, if you can see in the bottom there, to make this a little taller, but it's a little taller than the rest of it, but that's fine. I'd rather have that taller than shorter anyway, so, but again, this is the one I think I'm doing here, my favorite one. I think it works out. Got enough space here to move in if need be. And if this ends up being double, like with a pathway this way for people walking by, then they can also come in that way if they want. Or they can exit that way if they want to. But it's going to depend on if I put my grid wall up there or not, because I think I'm going to put one there and then 3 here. So there should be still space there to move in. But if I want to put my whiteboard up, I'm not sure if I'm doing that or not. I could also maybe put that in front of the checkout too, if I want to do that. Or in front of here. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. But this is the general floor layout that I want. Yeah. But anyway, so that's that for now. I'm going to add a few more things and then we'll see how it looks. All right, so I got some stuff out here now. This is just kind of starting to brainstorm about what I want. I can always do this later without the tent, but I'm just trying to figure out space-wise what I have. This seems to work pretty well based on, again, the things I have. I may need to buy more things, we'll see. But anyway, the big thing is, you can see, that's the, did I mention this before in the video? I was going to do a whiteboard. Technically it's white on the other side, but it's magnetic on both sides. So I am planning on selling magnets, but none of them are ready right now. So I'm hoping I have them ready by the time the event rolls around. And if I have enough, then that would justify using this big old thing. But otherwise, I'll just have to display them some other way. Now, this is on like an easel. I'm pretty sure, I'm going to see if I can find the answer. I am on grass and not on like concrete. So if I am on grass, I'll be able to stake these in to the ground. So it'll be more stable, one, but also I can bring it in a little bit so it's not as leany as it is, because it's kind of taking up a lot of space right now. So I'm hoping that I can do that. It's kind of a maybe. I'm not sure about that, but one, if I'm on grass, and two, if I have enough magnets to put on it, that makes sense. I also have magnetic hooks that I have, so I could possibly put other things on here as well, not just magnets that I'm selling. So we'll see about that. The other thing, so this is that backdrop thing I was talking about. I'm trying to decide, like, I'm pretty sure I can just hang a fabric or something from the tent over here instead, because this, with the feet especially, is taking up too much space, and I'm worried about tripping, and again, other people especially tripping on my stuff. So I'm pretty sure I'm not going to use the backdrop part of it. I'd only use that if I'm like doing an indoor event. So the one I'm doing in December is an indoor event, so maybe I'll use it then. But for now, I'm pretty sure I don't need that, and I can just hang it from the side there. Again, I do have sidewalls that came with my other tent. I might put one up today and see how it works, because I've never used it before, and see like if I would need something else in addition to that, if I want to hang my information that I want to hang behind me, if I can hang that off of there, if I need like another sheet or something, fabric, whatever. So that's my solution there so far. This is sort of my checkout area. You see my assistant employee of the month, assistant Chaz sign that I talked about in my overview video, which helps with the small talky stuff that I kind of struggle with. Like, people usually see this and they're like, oh, look at your assistant, that's cute, or whatever. So then it starts a conversation. So that I need that kind of. But anyway, so that's that. And then I have this, which just kind of lists all the things I do. I do have another blank one of these signs over here for now. I don't know what I'm going to put in here. It might be the same thing as that, or it might be something else. But I did it to kind of block the fan I have here, because I figured it's going to be warm. I'm probably going to want a fan. So I have this battery-operated tent fan that I've had for a while. This isn't quite done yet. It was just me sketching things about how I kind of want it to go. But this is for the vending machine and telling how much the tokens are and how you can get tokens and what you'll win and stuff like that. So again, I wanted this kind of visible as people are walking by, and even coming from this way, they'll see, oh, what's that? Oh, is that a vending machine? And here's the sign. So I'd rather have that like up front center. That's why I wanted the checkout area here, not back there. So that's kind of what I got there going on. I have these. I used these at that fall event for ornament storage. I think I'm gonna put greeting cards in there. Again, as long as I have enough to sell at that point. It's another thing I have to work on. But that's what I'm planning on putting there. And this is nice because it covers up this area that doesn't have a cover. Talking about the tablecloths, so I have these fitted ones that are technically for the 6-foot table. I have 2 of them. I only have one 6-foot table though. And I have the benches now, which means I can't really use this on the 6-foot table. I could use it underneath, but I can't use it with those. So I put them here for now. They don't exactly fit on those tables, obviously, but they work. I'm thinking of probably getting something else for these. If possibly, I might get the same. So I have a 4th of July themed one that I got a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna see if I can get more of those. See if I can get another 2 of those, so then they'll just match. And then these red and blue are kind of, 4th of July-ish, and I had these, so I figured I'd use them. I could maybe switch it up too, where I have the blue on the bottom and the red on top. I don't know. I can figure that all out later. But also with this, so this came with a fabric, obviously that little cover, and it's Velcro to the thing, but it doesn't go all the way to the top, so you can kind of see in, like there's a gap. And I don't really like that. So I want to do something different with those if possible. Maybe make like a more professional banner. And then I can switch up if I decide at an event to make it like longer instead of the corner, that I can kind of versatilely, how do you say it? How do you make that an adverb? I'm not sure. So that it can be more versatile. So, like for instance, I want probably have my logo on it, have it go like across this way and also one on this side. But then if I want to later on make it a long one instead of a corner, that I can switch it so that I can have, we'll see. I'm going to figure that out. But I don't know if I have time to figure it out, but I'm going to try. All right, so that's that. I don't think there's really anything else except for I have these. So I'm using these as a riser. I have this one that I'm going to probably store some stuff in, but my iPad is going to go here so that I can show my videos that I do at my events. Videos of me working and stuff. And again, another thing I have to work on, I want to put kind of a video together where it has like advertisements on it from me. Like, this is what I do. Ask me more if you want information or whatever. So right now I just have like my YouTube videos playing in the background. So I'm hoping I can get that done in time. So the grid walls, I can fit like one here and around the corner and then here. Now I did also figure out that I could fit another one here. And so I bought these from Amazon years ago and they're for my garden really. They're not for my tent, but I'm using them now. I can fit another one here. So when I bought it, it was a pack of 4. I'm wondering if they have a pack of 2 or something, or 1. Otherwise, I do need more for my garden anyway, so I might just get a pack of 4. But I should be able to fit one more here. So then I could just make it the whole thing around like that, which would be better than just having it kind of end. So I'm going to think about buying another one of those. Again, I need more for my garden anyway. But that is pretty much it so far. So I think I've got it figured out pretty much. I'm going to make sure I document and take pictures and stuff so I remember. And then take the tent down because I don't need it anymore. Oh, I am going to probably zip tie one of the grid things up just so I can see if it works. But then I'm going to start taking things down for today. And then we'll talk more about displaying when I get more items done, ready to go. But this is kind of what I have an idea of what I'm doing. Also, I may have different tablecloths and stuff later on, so we'll figure all that out later. But anyway, after I do the grid wall and check that out, I'm pretty much done for today. I'm going to start taking things down. So that's pretty much it. But I'll show you the grid wall when it's done. Almost forgot. So these are the signs that I was talking about. I brought those up from the basement. And then I have this one. I'm going to be putting something else on there, but something similar. But at least it says kind of something I wanted to. The other side says Halloween, though. Happy Halloween. It's the last time I used it. And I didn't clean it off. But that's what I mean. I hope I have a little bit of space in front, like I said, in front of the tent where I can put this stuff where, you know, it doesn't technically have to be in the tent. But, and also rain should be okay with the chalk markers I use. It shouldn't wash away, but who knows. This one in particular, I want to hide this little gap here that I have so that I can have some space. So that would be good there. But anyway, that's that. So I'm just cleaning up a little bit, and I'm going to do the one grid wall so I can and you can see how that works if I need to actually buy like a proper grid wall, or if I can get away with using this. So I'll join you again in a minute. All right, so I zip tied very quickly one of these up here. I just really wanted to check and see how I thought the weight was going to be with putting door hangers and stuff on it. I'm going to be adding more zip ties when I actually do this to here and here to make sure that it's level, because these kind of fall down. I'm also going to zip tie it to each other, and I'm going to zip tie the end here to this end, the pole, and then I'll zip tie them all together, and I think that'll be fine. I just don't want to waste too many zip ties right now because I'm going to end up cutting it off. All right, so here is a look at what my layout looked like in my booth at this event. Overall, I was a little worried, if you remember before in this video, about how cramped it might be, and then I said, well, it's probably not that bad. It's not bad, but it was, I think, kind of a hindrance having such a small space for people to walk in. That's why a lot of people didn't actually come in. So that's something I want to change. And actually, at the time of filming this video, I am going to be doing my next event this coming weekend when I'm doing the voiceover. And actually, when this video is uploaded as well, this coming weekend. So I don't have pictures from the things that I've changed yet. That's going to be in a later video. But basically, I'm not going to have as many tables and stuff in there, and it's going to be more like on the wall type stuff. But I will show you that when I get to that event later on in a later episode. But anyway, so here are a few more pictures from my booth layout. These I took the first day of the event, and there's a difference between the first day and the third day. First and second were kind of similar, but the third day I had started taking stuff out, and then you can see that it's much more spacious in there. And part of the problem too is because I have those two bar tables that I use for my checkout area. Those, it's kind of like a pros and cons thing. Like, I like having both of them there for many reasons, and especially for this event because it was a multi-day event that's different. But the event that I have coming up, for example, is a little different because it's only one day and it's only 5 hours. So I don't need both bars there that day. So I'm going to be able to just take one of those away anyway. That's already going to help. But with the multi-day thing, I wanted two there. And I like them better in the L shape than the like straight on one of the walls, because I feel more secure back there with all my back office type stuff, including the money and stuff like that. So that's why I wanted it in the L shape, but that takes up more space too. So it's kind of a double-edged sword kind of in a way. But like I said, I do have kind of a solution. I'm only bringing one bar table to this event because I'm only going to be there 5 hours anyway. But I have to kind of reconfigure if I do want to do the L shape again, kind of how I want to fit it in there. But I'll talk about that in a later video, like I said, in this series coming up in a few months once I do a few more events. But as you can see in the third day here, it's much more spacious, and it's probably closer to what you're going to see going forward in my tent as I show you the later events that I'm doing, including the one this weekend. So I wanted to just kind of show the contrast and show what I'm planning on doing, more or less. I'm going to have more grid walls on the walls instead of doing all tables or mostly tables or whatever. So that's going to help, I think. But you'll see when I do that. And if you follow me on any of my other social medias, you'll see it earlier than you would in a video. So I encourage you to do that. But that's basically all I have to say about this event and how the layout was. Now I'm going to go over a few common layouts that people do when they do use tables in their tent. They just don't really work for my purposes, but it kind of depends on what you're selling and whatnot. So let me go over those real quick with you. And okay, for all of these, just imagine that the front of the tent is at the bottom of the screen there. So this is a U shape, obviously with 3 or more tables, depending on how big they are. And these tables aren't drawn to scale on these either. So you have to keep that in mind. I just did this really quickly, but basically this is the U shape. There's a couple different ways you can do it. But you can see this shape is a good way to allow people to kind of come into your booth a little bit and look at what you have and then kind of go out as they want to. And you can put your checkout area wherever you want, if it's behind the U or if it's at one of the sides, but that's an option. And I'm going to be talking about all of these shapes again in a little more detail in my general tips video. So I'm just kind of giving a quick thing here because it's relevant to the layout that we're discussing. But I'm going to talk about it more later on in another video. But anyway, so here's another option. It's an inverted U. So this time the customers don't really come into your booth. They kind of go around. And it depends on if you have people next to you or not. Like you're next to like other vendors next to you on either side. Even if you do, though, however, you may use those back tables just for your own purposes or to bring things to the customer if they ask about them. Because they may not be able to, look and see at those things, but maybe you don't want them to. Like maybe you have some breakable stuff or whatever and you don't want kids to get them or whatever. That might be an option for you to do an inverted U like this, where you stand sort of in the middle and the tables are all around you and customers can't really come in. So that's an option. And another popular option is the Z shape, like this. So again, it depends on what the sizes of your tables and everything. Obviously, you're not going to be able to fit 3, 6 feet or 8 feet size tables in a 10 by 10 space, but it depends on the amount of space you have too. But usually it's a longer table in the middle and then 2 shorter tables kind of on the ends to make the Z shape. And you can do them in kind of different configurations as well. Again, it really depends on the type of products you have and that you want to display. And obviously, again, you would stand behind this, like towards the top of this picture, and then the customers would come across the bottom portion and kind of peruse and see what they like or whatever, and then you'd have all that backspace for your back office type stuff. It really depends on what you're selling and how much of it you have and how much space you have and everything. So this is an option though. Another option is more of a T shape. So in this case, the customers would be coming around that T, like the bottom portion of it. You probably have your like best sellers there or whatever. So people can come around and then come through and then filter out. Again, it really depends on what type of things you're selling and how much you have and, what works best for you. But this is another option. And another option is the L shape, where you just have like the corner, like one of the corners of your booth and both of the legs coming off that corner just filled with tables. And again, depends on what you're selling and how much stuff you have and what you're doing in the rest of the space, or if you want to leave that open for people to kind of have some space, which again is my problem where I don't have enough space. But this is an option too. So just wanted to give a few popular options and you can work from there. And that is all for this video. Like I said, I will be going over all of those options that I just went over with you in the episode that's coming up 2 episodes from now. So the next episode I have is about products and how to display them, which is kind of similar to the layout, but a little different. But I go over the products I have and how I display them and how I plan on displaying them in the future and things like that. And then I also go over some popular other things that I've seen people use that might be useful to you depending on what type of products you have again and what kind of layout you have. So that's what that episode's going to be about. And then the next one after that is my general tips video. in which I will be going over my best tips, which includes more detailed analysis of all those table layouts that I just did, and other things as well, like little tips and tricks I've learned along the way, or things I've seen from other people that I may not have encountered myself, but things that I might encounter in the future, or I might never encounter, but things you may encounter. So I want to kind of cover all those kind of tips. And I probably will end up having another version of that video later on once I get a few more events under my belt and things I have encountered more. So there'll probably be like a part 2 of that where, okay, general tips number 2 or whatever. Like I have more tips for you. So, but that's going to be the remaining part of this series so far. And by this point in this series that I'm doing now, I do have many events coming up that are scheduled for the rest of this year that I'm going to have more things to talk about. So I'm going to be doing a video. I'm going to be adding a video every few months probably to this series about vendor events where I go over, what happened here, what I learned, blah, blah, blah. But that's what you have to look forward to in this series. But I will have other videos coming out eventually as well as soon as this series is done. So thank you for watching.